Shalom, Israel. Shalom. This is the brother Quataziar Hawad back at it with another lesson, a quick lunch break lesson. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rucha HaKodash. Double honors to my teachers, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to you brothers out there laboring in this truth and faith and sincerity. Shalom to you families out there watching, waiting, praying on Yahweh Shai's second return. Peace and blessings to the house of David, the hopeful elect. All right, so the Spirit been on me to point out these different headlines that I've been reading, different news article headlines, dealing with the different countries that may be either attacking each other or about to attack each other. Whatever the case may be, Salakia. I'm tired at the plantation right now, but I had to hit record and get this in. All right, so this is the first article. Russia slams United States strike threats, warns against interference in Iran. And this was a day ago. Russia on Tuesday condemned what it described as subversive external interference in Iran's internal politics and said United States threats of new military strikes against the country were categorically unacceptable. Those who plan to use externally inspired unrest as a pretext for repeating the aggression against Iran committed in June 2025 must be aware of the disastrous consequences of such actions for the situation in the Middle East and global internal security, the Russian Foreign Ministry said in a statement. Yeah, so basically that was a short-ass article. So basically, the Russian Foreign Ministry is just like, real consequences can come from the United States trying to interfere with the politics that they have going on in the Middle East. All right. And that's a big deal. So it's this. 2 days ago, Mexican president tells Trump that United States intervention against cartels is unnecessary. So the pattern you're seeing here is Trump interfering or trying to intervene, whatever the case may be. Salakia. Trump trying to interfere, and you got these different countries saying, we don't want your help, we don't need your help. You basically getting in the way, trying to, make it look like you helping, but your intervention is getting in the way of what we already doing and what we got going on. Mexico president, that's crazy. They got a woman president. That's a fucking trip. Mexico President Claudia Sheinbaum said she had a very good conversation with President Trump, Slovakia, on Monday, and that their two governments will continue working together on security issues without the need for U.S. intervention against drug cartels. The approximately 15-minute call came after Claudia said Friday she had requested dialogue with the Trump administration at the end of a week in which he had said he was ready to confront drug cartels on the ground and repeated the accusation that cartels were running Mexico. Trump repeatedly offered to send the United States military after the cartels, and Claudia has always declined. But after the United States removal of Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, Trump's comments about Mexico, Cuba, and Greenland carried new weight. Trump asked me my opinion about what they had done in Venezuela, and I told him very clearly that our Constitution is very clear that we do not agree with interventions, and that was it. Claudia said Trump still insisted that if we asked for it, they could help with military forces, which Claudia says she again rejected. We told him so far it's going very well, it's not necessary, and furthermore, there is Mexico's sovereignty and territorial integrity, and he understood. In an interview with Fox News that aired Thursday, Trump said we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by water, and we're going to start now hitting land with regards to the cartels. The cartels are running Mexico. It's very sad to watch. Okay. China issues new Greenland warning to Trump administration. China warned the United States on Monday not to use other countries as a pretext for its ambitions in Greenland, saying its activities in the Arctic comply with international law and aim to promote peace and stability. United States airstrikes on Iran are on the table, Trump says. Attacking Iran with airstrikes is on the table as President Donald Trump weighs military options in the country after the Iranian regime's deadly crackdown on the country's largest protest in years. One thing President Trump is very good at is always keeping all of his options on the table. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said on January 12th, and airstrikes will be one of the many, many options that are on the table for the commander-in-chief. So just imagine if Trump was to start issuing out for the military to send out airstrikes, on other countries. That could very well lead to, if the United States is hitting one country with airstrikes, that could lead to other countries intervening to bomb the United States. But we know, when that really takes place, when the United States is really hit, will be with the nuclear missiles, with the ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. All right. Trump announced the raid and kidnapping operation in a 4:21 a.m. Truth Social post. Trump did not seek congressional authorization for neither this nor a series of deadly boat strikes in the Caribbean. Salaki, bear with me. Title of this article was Trump has started a war now going after Mexico, then Denmark will be struck. So you can see what's going on, man. Prophecy is not tarrying. All right. Pretty soon it will be nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Prophecy is coming to pass, man. All of this means that the MOTB is on the way. The mark of the beast is on the way. Jacob's, is right at the doorstep. Jacob's trouble right at the doorstep. All these prophecies are right at the doorstep. You know what I mean? Look at this. U.S. military draft disqualifications list exemptions amid fears over World War III. Under current law, all male U.S. citizens and male immigrants aged 18 to 25 are required to register with the Selective Service System, which maintains a list of people who could be called for military service if a draft were reinstated. But basically, if they wanted to, like during World War III, or when World War III really takes place, they could disregard all exemptions and qualifications. You know what I mean? They could completely disregard it if that's what they wanted to do. Like they could say, you're your mother's only son, so you can't be drafted. Like that was a thing. But like now they could just throw that out the window and say, fuck it. So yeah, man, I just wanted to bring out all these different articles, right? We just read this one talking about World War III. Donald Trump trying to take over other countries and lands. Okay, look at this. And then look at how recent these are as well. This was 4 days ago. Russia's 40-ton non-nuclear ICBM may have been aiming at Ukraine's MiG-29 factory. So a 40-ton intercontinental ballistic missile with a non-nuclear payload, including several separate kinetic warheads, streaked down on Lviv shortly after Russian officials reportedly warned American officials they were about to launch a missile with the profile of a nuclear-tipped ICBM. So yeah, y'all hear us talk about this all the time, man. ICBMs, the intercontinental ballistic missiles, those nuclear warheads, which in the scriptures are arrows, all right, that will get shot over here in Babylon the Great, turning this place into a nuclear wasteland, or as mentioned in the book of Revelation, the lake of fire, And also, in that day shall burn as an oven. So like, I don't want to butcher it. It's Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So the day that's going to come is when this place turns into a lake of fire, all right? And it's going to burn up all of the wicked, all right? The 2/3 of Israelites, the 2/3 of our people, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the heathens, all right? Going to get burnt up on this side, and through reincarnation, they'll be born again in the kingdom. Our people will be born again in righteousness. The heathens on this side will be born into slavery. All right. So I wanted to pull these out real quick. This Luke 21:10. Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. All right. So as you can see from all those articles we just read, that's what's soon to come. Okay. Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. So we talking a lot of civil unrest all over the world, man. A lot of protests that aren't even being televised, if you will. Okay. And that's coming to the United States soon, man. There's going to be a lot of civil unrest, civil war, okay, gender wars, the LGBTQ shit, race wars, World War III, A lot of wars coming to this place, man. These Babylonians about to get shook the fuck up, man. But to you hopeful elect out there, stand strong in your faith. Keep calling on Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Keep repenting. Keeping the righteous acts to the best of your ability. Keep the faith. Never stop believing. All right. Yeah, this wasn't meant to be nothing too long, man. I'll close it off with this. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20, and verse 14. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. So members of the hopeful elect, were already determined to be of the hopeful elect. Yahweh Shem Yahushua already chose them. All right, this is why we pray that we are of the hopeful elect. This is why we do the works. This is why we keep the faith. All right, begging, praying for forgiveness, and that we be counted worthy to be numbered amongst the hopeful elect. All right, but at the end of the day, you know, our fates are sealed as far as if we were or if we are not a part of the hopeful elect. So if you're not part of the hopeful elect, you know, and you make it to the end, you know, I'm talking about you make it through Jacob's trouble. Well, when those nuclear missiles hit, you're not getting beamed up by no chariot if you're not of the hopeful elect. And if you don't get beamed up by no chariot, you're getting cast in that lake of fire, meaning you're dying a slow, painful death through nuclear destruction. All right? So keep the faith, keep believing, keep fighting the good fight of faith. All right? Keep calling on Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Rehearse the righteous acts to the best of your ability. We almost home, y'all. We almost home. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.